British Steel here, back with another video. And today we return to achievements. But since we're all out of really good achievements, we're stuck with the ones who aren't all that interesting or challenging. So I'm going to be doing one of those in a stupid way. Yes, today we will be playing as Denmark, and you know what that means. We are going for party like it's 1520, where as communist Denmark we must occupy Stockholm. That's not all that difficult and not really a challenge. So I've decided to spice it up a bit, to up the ante, so to say. As Denmark, we will be going communist, obviously. We will be occupying Stockholm, but we will also be restoring the Kalmar Union, the personal union between Denmark, Norway and Sweden, under the capable leadership of the Danes. And if all that goes well, we will even be proclaiming some Nordic unity. That's right, I am going to try and unify all the Nordic countries, Denmark, Norway, Sweden and Finland, into one mega Scandinavia. So with that said, let's go. Iron Man mode on, and historical AI focuses on, because I like to know what's going to happen. But first, if you like these videos, leave a like, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload more content. And if you want to support what I do and support the channel, check out the membership page down below. It's the join button next to the subscription. It'll give you all the information you need to help me do what I do. But enough about me, let's get on to the video. Denmark. Not much to look at, are you? Alright, I'm going to get rid of the army. And I'm going to queue up one cavalry brigade without a location set, so I can keep it in this queue until I need it. Focuses, we'll go with political efforts. Construction, I'll just build a military factory here, I guess. And some infrastructure. This doesn't really matter. It's probably more beneficial to build the infrastructure first, since civilian economy has a hefty penalty to military factories. As for research, the basics of industry, mechanical engineering, and I'm not going for construction right away. I'm gonna make it a little detour and get 1936 submarine hulls first. Why? Well, there's a lot of water around us, and I'd like to be able to dominate those seas. Dockyards. We will be making really low quality submarines for now. In terms of production, we'll leave things as they are. The first two fresh factories can go on towed artillery, and I'll add an extra one to infantry equipment. We will not be an industrial powerhouse for quite a while. Oh, let's trade with our future friends, the Soviet Union. That should be the basic setup done. Oh, right, the Air Force. I like to delete the Air Force. That way, all those airplanes return to my stockpile should we ever find ourselves fighting ourselves. Alright, that's the basic setup done. Let's get cracking. Oh, the Navy, right. New commander. Wow, aviation enthusiast. Yeah, that's gonna be handy. Could just exercise a little. Now, what's the basic game plan here? Well, if you're just going for the achievement, what you want to do is build submarines to get yourself naval superiority in the Baltic. Then you build up as many of these divisions, change them into something a little more potent. I'll show you that in a minute. But you just naval invade Stockholm and the provinces around Stockholm, surround Stockholm, attack, and you'll have control of the area. And that's the achievement done. It's not likely that you'll actually defeat the Swedes. It's possible, but not likely considering Denmark's precarious position. But that's not what we're going to do. No. My plan here is to attack Finland and use that fresh border to funnel in Soviet troops when we attack Sweden and or Norway. An alternative is to attack Norway first, using them as a shield. That way there will be no allied intervention in Finland and Sweden. But Finland is rather strong if you leave them that long, and Denmark doesn't really have the manpower to go all out like that. It's possible, but I like to take Finland first, opening up avenues to the Soviet Union.
A few moments later.
Alright, political effort is done. Could go to industrial effort, but I like to make a stop here for naval effort first. A couple of extra dockyards and naval experience really do help. As for our first political power pick, it's obvious we hire the communist revolutionary. And now we wait until we can prepare for civil strife. Now, as your first research picks start finishing, my advice is to stick with the basics of keeping electronic engineering up to date, industry up to date. Construction's not that important, so you could skip on this for now. You could. In terms of important research, I would like to keep my submarines and torpedoes up to date. Land Doctrine, superior firepower. This is also a good choice to get early. And then the usual of improving the infantry equipment and the artillery. We will not be going for tanks this run. Denmark really isn't equipped for it. And not with the enemies we'll be fighting early on. Tanks are just... no. Norway's horrible terrain. Finland's just trees and marshes, so infantry it is for this run. Alright, we have our fresh submarines. Let's immediately start producing those. We'll let this one finish, and anything new will go to the new sub 2s with max torpedoes and maximum engines. These will take a little longer to produce, but they're such higher quality. And the research, like I said, focus on your industry. This run, I will actually be going for concentrated industry, since dispersed, I know it's good, but we won't be getting that many fresh factories until we've done the hard work anyway. And I'd like the ones that we do have to churn out more stuff. So I am going with concentrated this time. Very rare for me, actually. Right, our unit is ready to deploy, but we will not be deploying it. We will keep it here in the queue until we need it. It's a little trick in case you want to deal with civil wars quickly. Alright, the naval effort is done. That means we got a bunch of extra dockyards that will be incredibly helpful to churn out those submarines. Doesn't mean we need to trade, though. Just for the one steel, I'm not gonna throw away a civilian factory. Just leave the production going. The efficiency loss is like 1%, so that's not worth it. Not worth it at all. Focuses onto the industrial effort all the way down to armament effort 3. Once we get there, we'll see what's next. Alright, another 150 political power. I could spend that and prepare for civil war. I could, but Denmark does have a terrible manpower problem, and I'd like to go up to limited conscription first. I know that this slows down the rate at which we can flip to communist, but that's fine. It's not that important. It doesn't set us back far enough for it to really matter. So we will now wait until we get 50 PP so we can prepare for civil war, and we'll go from there. At least this way we can start mobilizing some manpower, because oh boy do we need it. Alright, 50 political power. Time for decisions. And we will now prepare for civil strife. Next up, we will be spamming the button here. Expand civil support until our stability drops below 50%. It's not great, but hey. Start out at 100 stability, so we gotta destabilize Norway first. Sorry, Sweden. No, wait, the other Nordic. Denmark. That's right, we gotta destabilize Denmark. Now, as our support for communism rises, better the outlook for the eventual civil war is going to be. And the more of these events that pop up, the better. Yes, it's going to be terrible for our stability, but it boosts our communism support a little bit. The upside of that is the higher the support for communism by the time we eventually fire the civil war, the bigger the chances are we can end the civil war early. Because when we fire it, the Jutland Peninsula will go to the loyalists, Iceland goes to the loyalists, and sometimes the Faroe Islands and Greenland also goes to the loyalists, which is a bit of a problem. It makes it difficult to end the civil war. Now, the higher our communism support, the bigger the odds that either the Faroe Islands or Greenland here will also side with us. And if one of these sides with us, all the better. That means the civil war is trivial. If they don't, it could be very tight, because invading Iceland before the loyalists are able to deploy a division there and make our lives horrible are slim. Requires extremely tight timing. Anyway, let's fire that last expand civil support and then on to the fight. And we got almost 30% support for the communists, so we should be good moving forward. Let's see. Stability is low enough. Now we just need a little bit of political power to ignite this civil war. Oh wow, another event. Very nice. That's bad for our recruitable pop, though. Anyway, we can now ignite the civil war. Let's go. Bada bing, bada boom. And as expected, the Jutland Peninsula, Greenland, Iceland. Yeah, fortunately, Faroe is ours, so we can proceed. Now, a little tip here to win this quickly before the enemy is able to get any divisions into the field. 1. Have this cavalry brigade queued up so we can immediately deploy it. Now, choose a location closest to the enemy and force deploy it. You can leave the other one to run. This will give you an idea of how much time you have before the enemy is able to deploy its first division. Once this reaches 20%, the enemy is going to get their division out in the field, so it's a good timer. Assign that division to a general. We start with one, it's fine. Before you do anything with him, set up a naval invasion order from Faroe onto Reykjavik. If you got Greenland instead, do the same with this port onto Iceland, just so that you can start planning that naval invasion already. Now the navy can be manually redeployed to the area we have control over, either Faroe or Greenland, but we first need to clean up the Jutland Peninsula. So let's let about an hour or so tick by so this division gets a little bit of organization and start the march towards this port. So just take Aarhus and the tip of Jutland, and that should free up our navy. Right, with the tip of Jutland taken, our navy is now free to move. Move them over to either Greenland or Faroe, depending on which is with you, and also send over that cavalry division. They can start their naval invasion preparations, and also tell the order for the naval invasion to go, 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 go. It's fine. The instant the navy is in position, set down for naval invasion support in the Norwegian Sea and the Denmark Strait, which isn't even close to Denmark, but okay. That will allow the cavalry division to immediately set off on a naval invasion of Reykjavik the moment it arrives, and we should arrive there before the loyalists are able to deploy their first division. Just barely. Yeah, just barely. But it's all we need. That is the Danish Civil War concluded with minimal effort. Alright, we can continue. My plan is not to invade Norway first. I'm going to give it a shot and try to take out Finland, opening up an avenue with the Soviet Union so the Russian hordes can pour in and assist. There is something to be said for taking Norway first, since it allows you to block off the entire Atlantic coast and prevent Allied intervention in the Baltics, but it does take quite a few divisions to garrison those ports, and, well, Danish manpower is not exactly abundant. Now, we could start justifying on Finland as soon as possible. However, Finland does have quite a few divisions. I think it's prudent to first get our army in some sort of fighting shape, which means recruiting a bunch of infantry divisions and changing out our templates, because these are not great. Also, don't forget to put your fleet back together. It probably got ripped apart by the Civil War. Just get them all back into position. Right, we've worked our way through to Armament Effort 3. Now what I like to do here is go all the way down to political commissars to pick up a bunch of political power that we can use, well, for the justification, but also to ramp up our conscription laws, our economy laws, etc. relatively quickly. Plus the added boost to communism support will help with our stability, and we will be able to take some improved worker conditions, some anti-fascist and anti-democratic raids. There's something to be said for going the industry path all the way down to extra research slot as well. I'm going to take construction effort 1 to get me an extra civilian factory, since I do need to trade for some steel, and then I'm going down to political commissars. I don't think it's a bad idea to get the extra research slot first though, but you can experiment with this. I'm not a big numbers guy. I don't know if this is optimal. Usually, I don't really care that much about the political power in these things, but Denmark just isn't strong. It needs every edge it can get, and getting those conscription laws, that free trade law, and economy laws up there real quick are pretty important. It's also March of 37, so it won't be too long until the Japanese kick things off in Asia, so I'm gonna boost relations with China a little bit so we can send them an attaché. Right, so I picked up construction effort first, mostly due to, well, the economy being in a rather sad state. So we have one more factory now building, or I could use it to trade for steel, but it's not hampering our production that much. Yeah, 15%, ooh, 30%, yeah. I'm gonna trade for steel. I'll get factories later. It's not that important. We don't need a huge army to take Finland. And now I'm going to continue with collectivist ethos all the way down to political commissars. And we do have some time. No need to start justifying on Finland just yet. Just make sure you get them out of the picture before the Soviet Union decides to do the Winter War. So you have some time. The Allies also will not intervene, even if it goes over 25% world tension, because we as Denmark have not generated any amount of world tension yet. I think it's just 2% we've generated due to our civil war, and as long as you've not generated more than 10%, the Allies will not intervene, and justifying on the Finns will generate 4%, so we should be good. Should be good. I do have some political power, and I could improve worker conditions, Sure, but I'm gonna hold on to this until things kick off in China so I can send my attaché there. That opens up the opportunity to go up to partial mobilization as well, since the attaché should give us the required 10% war support to bump us over 25%. And Japan has kicked things off. Let's send our attaché. Et voila, 28% war support. Great. Now we just work on stability, maybe get a little bit of war support somewhere if we can find any, and drag our economy out of the gutter. God, we need manpower. With the army experience we are getting from China, we are going to make some changes to the infantry division. And I know, I've been shitting all over the 7.2s. They're not great, they're not optimal for anything, but Denmark is in a very, very precarious position. We don't have the manpower to make full armies of 10 zeros with offensive units of 14 fours. We just don't have the numbers. So we have to go for the poor man's offensive template, the classic 7-2. Yes, I know, they're not great, they're not optimal. Denmark is in a very precarious position. We have virtually no manpower, our economy is in the gutter. We need something, anything to give us an edge over the AI. And while these units are not optimal by any stretch of the imagination, they will work offensively, and they are slightly better than 10 zeros to attack with, and attacking is what we will be doing for the most part. So I'm going to duplicate their initial template and put that away somewhere, and we'll upgrade the infantry division to the classic 7-2. Please, I know, reserve your comments. I know, we have to make sacrifices. Okay, October 37. We do have a little bit more time. We also need a little bit more time. 6 divisions isn't enough to take on Finland. I'm going to quickly pick up improved worker conditions because our stability is abysmal. Yes, this will hurt our economy in the short term, but will help in the long run. I'm also going to quickly pick up military police, just because we will be occupying Finland and Norway for a bit before we take on Sweden. So best to have something to deal with the occupation until we are ready to proclaim the greater Nordic state. And as these focuses finish and bring on tons of political power, we can use that. Gonna ramp up to partial mobilization first and then head for extensive conscription next because our manpower is drained already. With these units starting to be ready, I'll also start preparing my naval invasions. I could hit them around Helsinki, so I do suspect they'll guard their capital fairly well. Or I could hit them around Turku. As long as we take a port, that is the most important. So I think I'll hit Helsinki first. I should be able to overpower them in my naval landings. Try to land along a rather broad front, just to get the most out of this invasion. Alright, next batch of PP done. Immediately going for extensive conscription. And we have a little bit more that we will be using for free trade after that. Alright, 150 PP, free trade. Anything else will have to go to improving the stability, maybe the war support if we can, and military high command. Most importantly, army offense and the army logistics. The navy is looking not bad. It's getting quite large indeed. Alright, it's March of 38. It's time we justify on the Finns. It should still take quite a while, 215 days, but we should finish before the Soviet Union decides they want Finland. So let's start our justification. And even though we are above 25% world tension, nobody is going to come to the Finns' aid. Like I said, because Denmark hasn't generated more than 10% world tension. So we should be fine here. Just don't join the Soviet Union yet. Alright, we have our political commissars. Time to rush down to the extra research lot, picking up all the factories along the way. As for political power, we'll spend that on Chief of the Army and Army Logistics Expert. I've also been exercising my navy a bit to make the ships a little better, but I think I'll park them in port for now. Start building up a fuel stockpile because we will need fuel to keep these boys running. And yes, stability and war support are still low. There's nothing really we can do about that. We could have gone with anti-fascist and anti-democratic raids instead of sending an attaché to China right away, but you have to make choices. Denmark is in a position where they have to take what they can get, really. We're also halfway there with our justification and still no guarantees, so Like I said, we haven't generated 10% world tension. We're fine. We're fine. As for our next political power pick, like I said, army logistics expert, always a good idea. We should hold on to the rest of our political power just to see what comes up. By now, our first 10 divisions are out in the field and preparing our naval invasions, so we will be hitting the entire coastline between Turku and the tile right of Helsinki, trying to overwhelm the Finnish defenses. The Finnish army is quite large, but we should be able to outplay them. I've also added military police to my cavalry division. We'll make this as big as we can eventually, and I've set my cavalry division as the occupation template, along with bumping this up to local police force in preparation of our invasion of Finland. Equipment priority, as usual, is high for reinforcements and garrisons. The rest is medium or, well, pretty inconsequential. I'm also preparing more naval invasions without assigning troops to them, but I'm preparing to hit Vasa and the narrow point of Finland up here, closest to Sala. The plan here is to make my initial landing to the south and expand as much as I can, trying to take Tampere, Viipuri, the victory points here. Then when the Finnish army is drawn south to defend, and they still keep something on the Soviet border, because that is also part of the plan, then we hit a second naval invasion with one division each to take Vasa, another victory point, and land in this area to rush that division over to Salla, and hopefully that should be enough to capitulate Finland. We do not want to draw this out. We cannot afford massive casualties. We are also going to join the Soviet Union, or rather the Comintern, as soon as this justification finishes, right before we declare war. We have about 20 days left. I'm gonna force deploy these units, best to have them ready, assign them to the army as well. Get a little bit of training in before they are sent out into the field.
12 seconds later.
Okay, our justification is finished. Let's see if the Soviet Union will have us. Oh, right, I should have improved my opinions of them a little bit earlier, but we have time. I'm gonna let this run a little bit longer. Okay, so I've improved my opinion with the Soviet Union enough that they'll have us in their faction. Now we will ask to join the Soviet Union. Should have done this a little earlier, I kind of forgot. It doesn't matter, our war goal is still valid for, well, quite some time. We joined the Soviet Union, great. Now we declare war on Finland without calling the Soviet Union. We don't need the Soviet Union. The only reason we're joining the Comintern is to force Finland to spread out its army across the Soviet border and trying to defend against us. The reason we don't join the Comintern while we're justifying is that might be cause for the Allies to start guaranteeing Finland anyway, so we don't want to take that risk. That's why we join after the justification is done. All right, let's hit Finland with everything we've got. 16 divisions up against their, how many is this? Could be quite a few divisions. We'll see. All right, the Navy can convoy escort, and let's go. Does look like the Finnish army isn't actually home. That is very beneficial to us. We can immediately push out as far as possible. Go for the victory points. Always go for the throat. As you can see, the Finnish divisions are responding, but they'll have to come from a long ways off, and they cannot pull everyone away because they still think I can call the Soviet Union in, meaning they have to defend that. And, well, they're right, I could. Not going to, but I could. I'm also going to set off an invasion for Vasa. 2 divisions will head to Vasa, take that victory point, and I'll pull the rest of these units over to the southern front. And I'll leave 2 units on Copenhagen to launch an invasion to the north here, depending on how many divisions they keep here. Now it's going to be a matter of aggression. Aggressively push out. We want to do as much damage as possible before the Finns react. We're going to trade a little bit of oil with the Soviet Union, so I can put my measly air force up. We had 33 planes at the start, if you remember, and after the Civil War we got all of those back, so I'll put them up over Finland just to help with this fight. They won't do that much, but it's better than nothing. Also, my naval invasion of Vasa turns out to be a little, not really required, but hey, we're here now. Might as well keep them here. And we keep aggressively pushing north, but the Finns are responding now. Since we could use some more guns, I'm going to create a bit of an artificial deficit here and see if the Soviets will send me some lend-lease. They'll send me guns, not artillery. Better than nothing. 4,000 guns, I'll take it. Manpower is dire, but we should be able to ramp up Oh no. Oh no. We'll fix that later. It's fine. Could get some war propaganda going now. Bit of weekly war support is going to be helpful, considering how low our stability and war support are. If you get hit with strikes or mutinies, doesn't matter, pick the most expensive option and keep going. Alright, we have control over most southern victory points. The Finns are responding though, so it's getting a little dicey. I've also shelved my idea of a naval invasion up here because we will be completely cut off. I'm gonna divert those units to the southern front and work on some micromanagement. With a few encirclements, we should be able to take some of these Finnish divisions out of commission, and as they start losing units, we are in a much better position to finally take them out. You can also put the navy back into docks. We don't need them right now. Now, the terrain here isn't exactly ideal for a mass charge. If I set my battle plan to go, we would probably win, but at the cost of manpower, I can't really afford to lose, so I'm just gently micromanaging this, trying to work my way towards some encirclements of Finnish divisions so we can destroy them. That will free up the way forward without mass casualties for Denmark. Denmark really can't afford mass casualties. My bad. Should be able to get that division up, and in exchange we can get rid of this Finnish division here. Just never get too greedy, you know? Might end up going poorly for you. Also, don't worry too much if this takes a while. It's fine. The Allies will intervene with Norway and Sweden. There's nothing you can do about that. World tension is just what it is. Once we take our time with Finland, the Russians will be able to help us defeat Sweden and Norway due to the land border we have there. And with Russian help, we should be able to overwhelm the Nordics. So we're defeating the Finnish army one encirclement at a time, and eventually they will not be able to man the entire front, and we can simply walk to their remaining victory points. While this is a slower approach, it also minimizes Danish casualties. As you can see here, 2,000 Danes lost against 20,000 Finns. We're almost there. It's just, I know this is slow. I'm doing this deliberately to minimize casualties. We don't have that much manpower until we can unite the Nordic countries. And with a little luck, yeah, another 3 Finns encircled. That should be it, pretty much. After this, I can just charge towards Savo and Salla, and we should be done. Resistance in Finland rising. The spirit of Finnish people is strong after all. Shouldn't have to worry about that for too long, though. Once we reunite the Nordics, that won't matter. Besides, we've killed 32,000 of them. There shouldn't be too many of them left. Alright, we've got the extra research slots. I'm gonna pick up some more civilian factories here, and then we'll see. It's probably going to be army effort for bonuses, maybe ideological fanaticism and technology sharing for some more bonuses. The choice is yours. Really doesn't really matter too much at this point. Finnish army is pretty much in tatters. They've got 18 divisions at most, which I sincerely doubt, and if I just set an offensive, we'll win and push towards Savo. No sweat, but like I said, I am minimizing casualties to the extreme right now. We will need all those men later. For the final thrust towards Savo, I think that's their final victory point. Yeah, that's gonna be it. When we conclude this, we will have taken 5,000 casualties. Still too many, but Denmark at least is not blood dry. We'll have killed over 60,000 Finns. A little slow, I suppose, but in the grand scheme of things, not too bad if I do say so myself. Unlike the Soviet Union, we cannot afford to throw our men around like expendable resources. And there goes Finland. A few guns, some support equipment. Most importantly, when we take all states, nice juicy border with the Soviet Union, allowing for Russian bad power to flood in and come to our aid. Now to move onwards. We could take Norway next. The Allies will intervene. There's no way around that. But France is about to be no longer our concern anyway, and the UK will have bigger fish to fry. Now it's going to be a matter of who do we take out first, Sweden or Norway? My guess is if we knock out Sweden, which should be relatively easy if we push from the north, or just invade across here and hit Stockholm, we should be able to knock out Sweden relatively quickly. They should not get too many support units from the Allies. That opens up a massive border with Norway that we can exploit to quickly overwhelm them before Allied support rushes in. Plus, we can call in the Soviet Union for those fights. Since they'll be attacking from our territory, the occupation will go to us anyway. So my guess is Sweden on the chopping block first. Unfortunately, while we wait for Sweden to get what's coming, we can't really recruit more troops. We are at the limit of our manpower, so we'll start saving up political power to go to service by requirement as soon as this is possible. Same for war economy, really. We're almost there. Next world tension bump should get us there, so we start saving political power and plan the invasion of Sweden. Easiest way to do that would be just to walk in from the north, but all the victory points are more or less to the south. So what I'll do is stack a unit, maybe 2 here on Copenhagen, so the Swedes can't just walk in, and then make some coordinated naval invasions. Either hit Stockholm or Norrköping and Göteborg, and then try to meet in the middle and sweep down and crush the Swedish forces, and then take the rest of the country with minimal resistance. Meanwhile, I'm fine with letting the Swedes either walk into Finland or have the Russians man that border for me if they are so inclined. It doesn't really matter if they take Finland, because if they fall, it's all over for them anyway. And the territory should revert to us. Let's get everyone into position. Looks like the Soviet Union is going to be kind enough to man that Swedish border for us. That's helpful. And with our rather large navy at this point, 36, so 34 submarines and 2 heavy cruisers, we'll be able to make those naval invasions work. I've split a fleet in half, so a heavy cruiser per fleet for naval invasion support, so we can hit both sides simultaneously. I'm not expecting a lot of resistance from Sweden. Once we take this port, it's also virtually impossible for them to get any help from the Allies. So unless the UK is really committed to invading us instead of fighting the Germans, we should be fine. Norway is a different matter though, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Alright, we've got the entire industry tree done. Like I said, choice is yours. Army effort works. If you want to go with ideological fanaticism and technology sharing, that works just fine. At this point, it's mostly irrelevant what focuses you pick. And that world tension bump from Czechoslovakia getting eaten allows us to take war economy. Now, if only we could fix our stability and war support, that would be great. Well, that Soviet garrison support sure is welcome. That should help us keep the Finns in check. We really have to limit our casualties in Sweden, though. Like with Finland, we are stretched as it is, and there are no reserves unless I can kick it up to service by requirement, but yeah, that's not happening anytime soon unless one of the allies lands in our island holdings. Maybe. Best save up political power just in case. Also gonna start making a little bit of towed anti-air to potentially add it to our divisions if we can scrape the manpower for it. You don't have to unless you're trying to continue this campaign into, well, anything past restoring the Kalmar Union, then it might be helpful, but you don't need to do this unless you're actually planning to fight the United Kingdom and maybe Germany at some point. It never hurts to be prepared. Yes, we will crush their bourgeois dictatorship. Oh, and I'm trying to get better submarines. It won't matter for Sweden and Norway, but if you're at some point going to try and challenge the UK or Germany, those submarines could be helpful. Well, not really that much for Germany, but for the UK, those subs could help if you're not able to take them out before the Americans arrive. And yep, the world's gone tits up. I'm just going to sit on my political power for a bit, just in case we ever get the chance to go up the service by requirement. For instance, if the UK or France take one of these islands, we should be able to take that decision. Or until we can bump up our stability some more. Our justification is complete. Time to show Sweden who's boss. By now, of course, they are guaranteed by France and or the UK. No working around that. It will always happen, even if Sweden is your first target. It is what it is. It's fine. We'll simply declare war and call our allies in. We'll now set off our naval invasions. We should be able to get superiority over the Swedish fleet, though sometimes it can be a little tricky in one or more regions. If that happens, redeploy the fleet as needed. A little unlucky here. Our convoys got intercepted by Swedish submarines, resulting in the landing of those troops being delayed, and they managed to get troops in position to intercept them, and they are at low strength because of that convoy interception. Not much you can do about that. If it happens, it happens. I'm sorry, there are RNG elements that I cannot fix for you. Best I can try is a force attack to try and break that port, but it's gonna be a tall order. We'll see how it goes. At least the Soviet troops are holding my northern front, and they're in this fight with me. We had more luck with the naval invasion on the other side of Sweden, so let's see if we cannot link up. Quickly take the capital. That should put a nice dent into them. And now we'll push across and try and link up our forces before everything goes tits up. Ah, strikes. No way around it. With the stability that we have, it was bound to happen. Keep picking the most expensive option to make them go away. It's not optimal, and I wish we wouldn't have to, but it is what it is. Either we break Göteborg from the sea, or we will take it from land, but Göteborg will break regardless. Alright, forces have linked up. Best to clean up to the south and then redeploy north. Lots and lots of Swedish troops are stuck south here. Best clean that up first. Even if that does mean we are giving up Stockholm, we're just using this as an opportunity to crush the Swedish units to the south, and then we will swing back around to the north. Don't worry, Soviet Union is doing its job here. Well, sort of. Oh, thank God we managed to break Göteborg. Means we can counterattack to the north. Losses have been higher than I'd like, though. Especially because they intercepted us there. Yeah, they sunk quite a few of my convoys. 15,000 men lost, mostly at sea, due to them sinking our vessels. Oh, yeah, we found the Swedish Navy. Yeah, not bad. Not great. We've lost our heavy cruiser. Oh well, the strength of our navy is in its submarines anyway. And we are making a good trade here. Alright, we've cleaned up the south of Sweden. Time to push north. Most of the Swedish army should be defeated at this point. I've put my remaining heavy cruiser in reserve. He has done his job. We don't really need him. And the submarines are convoy raiding the Baltics to prevent Allied interference. Make no mistake about it, Sweden isn't exactly a pushover. Definitely not for a country like Denmark, who is really not equipped for fighting. Ah, good news though. We did manage to sink the Swedish pride of the fleet. I'm gonna take the opportunity to do some more war propaganda against Sweden. That should bump up our war support even more. We definitely need more of that and more stability. Lots of stability if we can get it. And there goes Sweden capitulated. We gotta take Gotland though. If we don't take Gotland, we don't control all Swedish states, so don't forget about that. Preferably get it early before they manage to deploy some troops on there to defend it. And now we prepare to take on Norway. We'll quickly justify on them as soon as possible. Now, as for my Norwegian battle plan, to attempt to knock them out with minimal casualties, I've grouped the bulk of my army to the south to sweep into Norway, since this is pretty decent terrain to attack it, mostly plains and some forests. So we'll try and sweep in here to take Oslo. I'm going to make 3 small naval invasions to hit Kristiansand, Stavanger and Bergen. I've deployed units close to Trondheim on the border to rush towards Trondheim, and to the north I have units next to Kirkenes, Tromsø and Narvik to try and take those areas if their units leave at some point, or if we can force our way in. If that fails, we'll have to improvise. Ah, darn. The UK took the Faroe Islands, which does mean I will be able to go up to service by requirement once I get to political power. So it's a blessing in disguise. We'll have to take it back though if we are to proclaim Nordic unity. It doesn't matter for the Kalmar Union. Kalmar Union only cares about the continental provinces, so for the bigger one, Nordic Union, we also need Greenland, Iceland and Faroe. So we'll get Faroe once we clean up Norway, or at least we'll try to. Right. I forgot about this one. The Germans also want Norway. So if you're going for it, it's best to hurry. So I got caught a little off guard. I'll adjust and fix this. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. We should be able to make our gains before the Germans get anything done, really. I'm a little concerned here about Tromsø. The north might be difficult, though. I'm not too concerned about the south. They intercepted my convoys again. That's annoying. That's gonna be a lot of casualties that I really can't afford. But it is what it is. There's no way around it. Those units will be hurt. As long as they can make it to Stavanger, we'll be fine. Oh no! There's a lot of British there. And I'm guessing if this was a full strength unit, it might actually make it. But no. It doesn't look like that unit's going anywhere. I'll just have to pull it back. Okay, so I've taken Trondheim. I'll leave the unit to guard it. I've taken Stavanger and Kristiansand. I'll leave units to guard those as well, in case the British want to land more troops. Which means we now need to push towards Bergen. And the north, we need to take Narvik, though that might be difficult, considering how many Norwegians are still here. And Kirkenes is also ours. I'm not expecting a massive counterattack here, but I'll leave a unit there just in case. Should we see an opportunity, I will launch an assault on Narvik. But the important bit will be to push towards Bergen. That's the main port where the British are landing troops. I don't like it when the British land troops. So yeah, more and more British units are arriving. I want to finish this. I hope that the added help from the USSR will allow us to quickly take Norway. We just cannot afford too many casualties. That's our main concern, really. It's just casualties. If we can get some raiding done, we can starve the British units here. Don't worry too much about Norway pushing into your territory. It's all fine once they capitulate. The biggest problem is going to be the UK. We have to dislodge them from the ports as quickly as possible. We cannot allow them to bring too many units in. Also, these Germans are annoying. We really need to take this territory before the Germans do. That's going to be annoying if they get stuff. I'm just going to aggressively push towards Bergen. If we control Bergen, we control Vestlandet, and that's all we really need. Then we can dedicate the rest of our forces to the north here, take Narvik. Oh look, Soviet Union's landed troops as well. At least our convoy raiding is helping. We've managed to starve the British out of Narvik, and if I can rush divisions up to Tromsø, we should be able to capitulate them relatively quickly. I say relatively because, you know, it's already taken a little longer than I would have liked. Oh yeah, that's a lot of British divisions sitting on Bergen. We'll have to clean that up. We've contained the Germans. They won't be able to take control of the state. No, should be fine. I just hope it does not disqualify the decision, though. That would be annoying if it did. Let's hit Tromsø. Let's see how long the Norwegians can keep this up. Not long. Not long. Either Tromsø is gonna do it, or we'll need Bergen as well, but we're almost there. If we can force the British out of this port, we've got them. And we've taken Bergen. Norway has capitulated. Excellent news. How's the occupation looking? It looks like we control everything, or at least we control enough, and we can restore the Kalmar Union. Let's click that button. Oh, look at that blue. Look at that sweet, sweet IKEA blue. It's a bit cancerous to the south, but the Soviets will give me that land eventually. The Germans, I don't really care about. And if we were to proclaim Nordic unity, all we gotta do is retake Faroe. So let's get that done as soon as we clean up these pockets that are left. But we should be getting a lot of manpower now. Not to mention factories. We've gone from 24 military factories up to 43. Yeah, that's a lot better. This actually gives us options in terms of production. If you want to, at this point, you can easily shift into tanks. If that's what you want to do, you can easily shift into tank production now. If you want to make this a long campaign. Suddenly we have manpower again. We can start training additional divisions. And we can start changing our division templates. First, though, I'm going to try and take the Faroe Islands before the British think they can have them. Now, to invade Faroe, I could go from my mainland. Yeah, that's not going to work because the UK tends to concentrate its fleets around the island. So, western approaches, English Channel, North Sea tend to be well patrolled, as well as the eastern North Sea and Denmark and the Norwegian coast if the UK is involved in the theater up there. What I can do, however, is send troops to Iceland and naval invade from Iceland. So, it should bypass regions that UK is using. In theory, assuming I don't sink on my way there. And whoever's left, I'm gonna start assigning some units to guard ports, because I do not want to get invaded right after conquering all this territory for the glory of the Danish people. I'm always a little shocked to discover just how many ports there are in the Baltics. My god, these Scandinavian countries have such huge coastlines. The ships are in position. I've snuck my submarines up to Iceland. I got 2 divisions here ready to naval invade Faroe. Hopefully they don't have anything there. Don't know, we'll see. And the Navy is in position on naval invasion support. The Royal Navy tends to not hang out up here if you're not playing around there. They tend to keep to the seas around the UK. So let's see if we can take it back. Well, it appears they have a Polish division here. Wasn't expecting that. Hopefully we can dislodge it and proclaim Nordic unity. I'll use a quick force attack. We should be able to get these Poles off our island. There we go. Faroe is Danish once more now. Let's click the button to proclaim Nordic unity. Oh, look at that blue. Beautiful blue with a weird looking flag. Like, that is a weird looking flag. So I say with that, the challenge is completed. We have finished party like it's 1520 in a stupid convoluted way and had fun doing it. Not only did we restore the Kalmar Union, but we also proclaimed Nordic unity. Maybe we should clean up this cancer to the south here though, but it's not that much of an issue. We can take the Germans on easily once they fight our Soviet brothers. We are, after all, quite a powerful country now. Denmark is not that pitiful anymore. Now I have to say this was quite the challenge. It looks easy, but it definitely is challenging to do. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload more content. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Just hit that dislike button and tell me what I did wrong in the comments. Always looking to learn. And if you want to support what I do and support the channel, consider joining the Bitter Steel squad and click that join button down there next to the subscriptions. It will take you to the YouTube membership page. It has all the information you need to support what I do. That said, my job is done here, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.